Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Welcome back. Welcome to. Appreciate the support. Really do. My name is Joe Josh. I go by iChart Daily. Today is October 1st, 2025. In today's video, cuzzies, we're going to be going over Bitcoin, my thought process, why am I thinking that, the who, what, when, where. I possibly might go into Doge and XRP depending on how much time I've spent on Bitcoin. First things first, this is not financial advice. This is a window to my thought process, just for educational purposes, only like we're chit-chatting at the bar. A couple things that I am seeing play out though, so I just want to once again brush up on some ideas. In my last video from 12 days ago, thank you to the 63 of you and the 12 that liked the video. I mentioned that we could go up to certain levels like 117 to 119. Potentially have a pullback, and then we'd have a better understanding of what's going on. Since that day, which was the 19th right here, we went up to the 117.6, 9 level. We came back down, right? We saw resistance where we've seen previous resistance, support, excuse me, and we came back down to the 108 and we formed a beautiful, let's just say, double bottom or potentially inverse head and shoulders. There are a couple things that stick out to me right away. One, when I see leg down, up, leg down, usually the leg gets filled the other way, right? So first levels, like I said the other day, still remain the 117 around here. And then after that, you're looking at your 122 to your 124 levels thereafter. I did post in the community tab. I hope you guys are liking that. Educational stuff on Bitcoin's dominance, what's playing out, the whole nine, right? You could see Bitcoin's dominance right now is changing its course, right? We have been in a huge up rally since November 2022, and now you're seeing your first leg down, right? It's not continuing on its uptrend. We did stop at the 21-day moving average, which shows that we could potentially have another leg up, a double top, something like this playing out. And then you would see the more bearish or hidden bearish divergence playing out. But we did have a couple cracks in the ice, right? What is a crack in the ice? So one, your MACD on a monthly time frame, golden crossed and officially death cross, showing you that trend is officially going the other way. We still remain above the zero line, showing us that this could be a consolidation and the 21-day moving average could be support where it's at right now. Next, the RSI, which shows us overbought, oversold, right? You always want to see your RSI above the moving average, right? Golden cross above, and officially you're cracking the ice, showing you that the trend is going potentially the other way now, or at least flat, right? Forming a top, right? Those are options, is you break the moving average. Now, we did break the moving average, but the rest of the lake is still frozen because it stayed above the 50. The 50 is almost like the same representative of the zero line. Positive above, negative below. Positive above, really bad below. Right? So as long as we're above, that shows us that we are oversold, but oversold in a very positive territory, showing us that, again, the 21-day moving average could be a short-term bottom. What these are called are like dead cat bounces, right? So the most important thing that happens after this move up potentially is, do we break this high? And the same thing is potentially playing out with Bitcoin right now, but I'll go back to it. So once again, we had a nice huge run. Now we're coming down. We had a consolidation. Now we want to see the next pump up. Does it make a higher high, a lower high, or the same high? If anything happens like this again, that fuels a hidden bearish divergence. So your price will go back up, form the same high, use the yellow resistance line and support it once again. And that will, you then have to check your indicators to see if they still remain bearish in a death cross structure, getting closer to the zero line. Are we making a lower high, lower low situation and using the moving average as resistance, right? If this is doing this and we continue doing this, do you eventually stop at the 50 and go back up? That's when you have your continuation. or do we continue using it as resistance, break the 50 and go down? As of right now, there's a ton of room to grow back to use the moving average as resistance and probably head back to this level here of the 55 to the 60 level. So I'm using the tops of these. You're looking at like 50, 58 to 59. So there's room to grow on a monthly time frame for your Bitcoin dominance. Another thing is my indicator going off, which is your market bottom indicator, which turns your candles hollow, which turns it into like a VPVR, right? So you could clearly see what was resistance turned into support, again, right? And because of the candles going off, you're having more than usual volume coming in, right? So volume's going up, volume's going up, volume's going up, but it turned hollow because you're getting a lot more volume coming in. So the reason why I'm showing you this, right, is we're trying to figure out if Bitcoin's going up, okay? Bitcoin's going up. Is Bitcoin going up because of new money, or is Bitcoin going up because of profit from alts, right? That's what we're trying to figure out. So room to grow on the Bitcoin dominance chart. That's a good thing for Bitcoin, because if a lot of the altcoins bleed, then the profit goes back to Bitcoin, right? Most people don't believe in the dollar or their fiat because it's a inflationary asset compared to an inflationary asset. And people would rather just ride out Bitcoin for the 4-year cycles, because when you zoom out, as long as you don't die, it's continuously has made a higher low, higher high. We can't make the argument yet of when does it make its first double top, whatever it is. That's not on the table. The trend is your friend till your end. Bet with the trend. So my point is, Bitcoin, in my last video I said we could go up, and I would love to see it in a higher low, same low, whatever it is, and we did. If we go back to the 2-day chart, get rid of everything, we went up to the resistance levels here, right? We came back down to the support levels here, and now we can make some arguments, right? Let's turn this off just so that make it clear as day for everyone, right? So once again, W pattern. Once I would set an alert here to show me if and when we do break out of this level, there's room to grow here, and you're looking at a cool 2%. Another argument would be that this is a inverse head and shoulders. This would probably be your neckline. We are breaking out, as you could say right now, and then your resistance levels would be, like I said, here, and then you can zoom in to see where your next levels are here. So once again, you're looking at 119 to 120, 122 to 122.5. Now, a couple things that I want to explain, right? Because you always have to play devil's advocate and understand, when does this end? That's what I'm always trying to figure out, right? How can I be early to the exit party? How can I do my Irish goodbye, right? When I'm like, all right, guys, see you later at 500 to 1,000, when I was in here, and it's like everyone's stuck with their hands in their pants, right? And then I get in around here and I do my Irish goodbye anywhere from like 7,000 to 20,000, taking mass profits off the table while everyone's like, and you're taking mass profit off the table, but you're acting like the news, and you're like, yo, it's a really good time to buy crypto, bro. Are you sure? Yeah, even though it went from like 200 to like 8,000, yeah, still a great buy. Yeah. Exit bags. And then like Bitcoin does the same thing again. Has this beautiful correction. Like I tell everyone again, like, yo, I'm putting some money in over here. And then as it goes from like 3,000 to 6,000 all the way to 40 to like 60,000, I'm like, yo, it's a really good time to buy crypto right here. Even though I don't do that, right? But that's what the news does. So I'm trying to figure out, when should I start doing my Irish goodbyes, right? When should I be like, yo, it's a really good time to buy crypto right now? Meanwhile, my bags have been stacked since 17, 15, 13, or even 6, 3, and before that, right? So, a couple things. The good old fib, right? The good old fib. One thing that I've added to my fib is extra levels. I've always said there are other levels between the 1618 and the 2618, and there are, and you can see they respect them. So the next level that I might be doing my Irish goodbye, sorry if that offends anyone actually, is the 125 to the 135,000 level. I said that level for a long time. So that's a key level, 125, 130. Another thing that I was looking at was the 2-week, right? To once again help me understand when is there hidden bearish divergence on longer time frames while price is making higher highs, to help me understand that poo-poo's hitting the fan. And the reason why I ask that question is that is what happened the previous times, right? If you could identify a trend that can help you identify bottoms or tops, you're golden, bro, right? And not my opinion, right? Bitcoin went from, let's do a little history once again, from let's just say 60 to 30 back to 60, 70, but your 2-week made a lower high, lower high, lower high, right? Same thing here with, once again, just bearish divergence, right? You're just getting death crosses, once again, RSI below the moving average, and breaks of 50, breaks of zeros, and once again, break of 50 on the stochastic. Previous to that, once again, not my opinion, right? It's lower high on an RSI, lower high on a stochastic RSI, death cross on a MACD, while your price is making higher highs. And when does poo-poo hit the fan? Eventually, when your RSI breaks the moving average and eventually breaks the 50, your stochastic breaks the 50, your MACD breaks the zero line, and that's when it's over, right? So I look at where we are now, right? And prices went from 70,000 to 50 to 104 to 74 to 72, 124 to 106. So it was like a small consolidation. But I'm noticing that this MACD is making a lower high. This RSI is making lower highs. Your stochastic, it's bouncing off the 50. Now, all three things are still in section A, which shows me that we can have a consolidation and we could not break the 11 and 21 day moving average. So this is like your risk right now. I do think we could have potential for another leg up. And if that leg up happens and we form another lower high or lower low, then we need to see, how much money should I allocate from Bitcoin to profits? That's the underlying question, right? I want to leave you with this. Like, Bitcoin has had consolidations from 60 to 80% for the past 12 years, right? So how much are you willing to keep on the table just based off of the news? Right, so because can you make an argument that Bitcoin is not going to have a bear market? If you can't make that argument, then you need to have that mirror to, like, look in the mirror and say, what am I willing to take, or what am I willing to keep in, right? Keep on the table, just in case poo-poo hits the fan tomorrow and your whole portfolio goes down anywhere from 60 to 80%, right? Alts could do 70 to 90%, sometimes higher. And that's what I'm trying to figure out now as well, right? How much did I put in here, and then how much I've been taking off the table at certain times, and then what is the leave it in for the bear market, have cash allocated to the side, so that if we do have a nice correction, we do come back down to 65 to 55,000 after the 125, 135, let's just say. How much money do I want to have to be able to reap the rewards back here, right? Because once again, I start every video with I have an experienced and seen and charted multiple of these, right? So I've been punched in the face, punched in the face, punched in the face, punched in the face, right? Right now, I'm like an experienced boxer, bro. I'm flinching for everything. So that's Bitcoin. On the short term, what am I looking for? Once again, we look good. We have a golden cross we're about to break. We are in section A. RSI, we're back above the moving average in section A. Your stochastic, officially above the 50 line. They all have room to grow, and that shows me that I will set an alert once we break these liquidation zones here, right? These sell orders from 116 to 117. then your next orders are going to be anywhere from 119 to the 120, like I said. So what I'm going to do is set an alert here at, let's just say, the 117.137, notifying me that my next take profit levels could be on the table. Another thing is Doge. If you remember, we caught this most recent pump, and I said, I trust charts over people, right? And we respected this line once, twice, three times, and we respected it again. This is what I mean by I trust charts over people. My friend sends me, I told everybody that this was a good time based off of certain things that were playing out, right? Golden cross above, break above, stochastic breaking above. We had a swing from 21 cents to 30 cents. Doesn't matter what was going on with Doge, right? I called it. Now, I also called the consolidation back down to the support of 21 cents, right? Forming a higher low. Watch the videos. During this swing, the news was coming out with something. I didn't even read the article. I'm being honest. Because when you don't know how to do technical analysis and your portfolio is going up, the only way for you to justify it to someone else, if you're casually talking to someone, let's just say on the golf course, the bar, you're at dinner, whatever it is, you're like, yeah, man, Doge had this protocol update or something Elon related or whatever it is, right? And that's another thing that you have to ask yourself. During that bear market, how much are you willing to keep on the table, if your asset has the possibility of going down 90%, right? And Doge did. Pretty much every asset did during every bear market. So here's Doge. Longer time frame still looks great. This is a monthly time frame, so we have the month just started. If I was to delete everything and just look at candle patterns or above the moving averages, we formed higher low, right? Let's just do baby things, right? So low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, right? The first thing that I think of is there room to grow? Yeah. Is there room to grow even within the current high, right? Forget the next high that you're trying to figure out. Is there room to grow just back to the highs? You have 31% and 71% back to these liquidation levels of here, right? So you want to take profit into wicks, right? So I would say anywhere from 20 cents to 30 cents would be my first level, and then after that you're looking at 35 cents to 41 cents, right? And then that's how it's done. And then can you confluence that with indicators? So MACD, you're having a golden cross, right? Example A, example B, but above the zero line. Zero, that's a very positive thing. The last time this happened, right, we were at, let's just say, this level here of 8 cents to 11 cents. You had, bang, you went from 11 cents to 15, and then from 16 to 41. Can you line up the RSI the same way? Are we overbought, oversold? Well, we were overbought from the 70 to the 76. We went down to the 50. And we stayed above. So that shows us that we could have a continuation to the upside. And we are about to break the moving average, showing us that there's momentum on our side. And once again, we want to buy assets when they consolidate back to the 50 and take profit when they're closer to the 70, right? And there's room to grow back to at least here. We're making higher highs. Do we expect another higher high? I don't know. I'm going to respect the 70 first, then I'll respect the second level of the 72 to 74, and then we'll see what happens thereafter. I always recommend using at least 3 levels. Most traders will tell you 6 levels. And another thing, the stochastic RSI, right? We're extremely oversold. We have room to grow at least back to the 50 line. Are we going to form another lower high and respect the 50 and stop there? Right, that's it. There's room to grow on all 3 indicators. There's positive things happening on everything that I see with Doge, and there's a ton of room to grow. That's Doge. XRP, same thing. The only thing that I don't like is XRP's volumes coming down while XRP is going up. I feel like XRP is at this turning point right now where we've made a lower high on the RSI. We're overbought, obviously, and we're at the 69 on the monthly. Is there room to grow? There could be. When I zoom in, I don't like that XRP made like the same or at least a little bit of a higher high, but you're getting hidden bearish on the MACD, right? This swing low was lower, this swing high was lower. I don't necessarily like it compared to Doge, let's just say. Another thing that I don't like is this chart. This is Bitcoin versus, this is XRP versus Bitcoin. This has double top vibes. So you have this huge pump up. There's zero like liquidity and support. There you go. You have your double top. This would be your neckline, and then if we were to break down your, you got to look at other major support levels. If we go back to here, yeah, not the best scenario. I would probably set some alerts. Yeah, you don't want to see a death cross on the monthly stochastic. All right, we don't want to see. Yeah, there's room to bleed on the 2-week back down to the 50 at least. The 2-week has room to bleed, volume coming back out the other way. Yeah, as of right now, your next support is going to be the 21, and after that, you're looking at these levels here, 1969. And because there's room to bleed versus Bitcoin, XRP versus the dollar could remain somewhat flat, stunt its growth, to be honest. It's always been the case for XRP. As of right now, XRP is making this lower high, lower low scenario right here. Support is the same. I would set an alert here at $3 to see if it does break up. If it breaks up, it's going here, then coming down, then coming up. Yeah, I need to see a break to the upside. Break to the downside, it sees resistance here, comes down, and then potentially either goes here and does another one, and then, like I said, fills this area back down to like the $2.33 area. This would be a measured move to either way. Break up brings us back to 353 to 360. Break down brings us back down to, like I said, $3.30 to $2.30 to $2.20. That's the video. Love you guys. Appreciate the support. You're getting conflicted things, right? So it's like the MACD showing bearish, but the RSI double bottom somewhat. So this could be a move up to the upside, I do think. Yeah, I do think that we could have a nice move up to like $3.03 to potentially $3.17. I would just be double checking it with the daily, the 2-day, the 3-day, just to see if you're getting bullish continuations. Yeah, you're good. XRP is good to 311 to 309. You're breaking your 50. You broke above the 50, and your MACD is about to golden cross. You're good for at least the next couple of days. Enjoy the day.